If you want to see what congressional Democrats wish to do to America, just look at the result of yesterday's election in New York, where their party installed a communist as the mayor of the largest city in the nation. Remember, I've said we will never have a socialist elected to any post in our country. I used to say that, and I was right. We skipped socialist and we put in a communist instead. That didn't work out too well. But as I've warned for many years, our opponents are hell-bent on turning America into a communist Cuba or socialist Venezuela, and you see what happened to those places. For generations, Miami has been a haven for those fleeing communist tyranny in South Africa. I mean, if you take a look at what's going on in parts of South Africa, look at South Africa, what's going on. Look at South America, what's going on. You know, I'm not going to, we have a G20 meeting in South Africa. South Africa shouldn't even be in the Gs anymore because what's happened there is bad. I'm not going. I told them I'm not going. I'm not going to represent our country there. It shouldn't be there. Take a look at what's happening in different parts of South America. Take a look at what's happening in different parts of the world. But now the Democrats are so extreme that Miami will soon be the refuge for those fleeing communism in New York City. They flee. They flee. Where do you live? New York City, but I'm trying to leave because I don't want to live in a communist regime.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Great America Show. It's great to have you with us. That was President Trump just moments ago at a forum he's doing, a business forum he's doing down in Miami. Hammering Zohran Mamdani, which he's done throughout the day today pretty frequently. And we got some of that video for you here on the Great America Show that we'll be bringing you. I want a special thanks to everyone who spent last night with us, election night with Mark Mitchell, myself, and the great Roger Stone. We had a great deal of fun. We did like a 3-hour stream, and we had, like I said, a great deal of fun. So I want to thank everybody who spent part of their evening with us and had some fun with us, which was what was, in my opinion, a little bit of a disappointing night for the Republicans. But I'm not ready to choke it all up to what the Democrats and the mainstream media are choking it up to be, which is, this massive win for Democrats. And it really wasn't. It was, you look at some of the seats that were held, you have a New Jersey governor's race, which has been held by Democrats historically for years. You have a New York mayoral race, which has been held by the Marxist Democrats for years. So the only flip you had, which was down in Virginia for the governor's race, which, quite frankly, they put up a terrible candidate. Winsome Sears has always been a terrible candidate. She was a terrible candidate for lieutenant governor, was pulled across the finish line by Governor Glenn Youngkin, who himself is not a Trumper. Youngkin got into Virginia and won that governorship by the grace of God. I mean, it was never meant to happen. He said all the right things at the right time. I mean, he won at a time when, you remember, the school board meetings were going on, the craziness with the parents, what they were doing to parents. That was when Youngkin won in Virginia. So people don't realize that. And of course, the mainstream media is not going to remind you of that, this man under extreme circumstances. And then, of course, President Trump winning Virginia was a referendum on the Marxist Democrats. So was it really a big loss for the Republicans? I say no. I don't think it was as bad. Did they get beaten areas where they shouldn't have lost as bad? Yes. But when you compare it to the election we just had in November 5th of 2024, there was a lot on the line there. It was Donald Trump against Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, this massive machine of retribution that was going after Donald Trump. We had record high inflation. You just had a terrible dynamic with Joe Biden in there as president. So there was so much on the line. There was so much there. So you can't really compare it to, in my opinion, you can't really compare it to the numbers of 2024. And those of you who joined us last night with Mark Mitchell, you got a little taste, and Mark spoke a little bit about that, comparing the numbers to what they were. So, yeah, it was a disappointing night for the Republicans, and it should certainly be an eye-opener that they should take everything seriously. We all thought Mamdani was a joke. We laughed at him. We made fun of him. And now this knucklehead idiot moron is going to be the mayor of New York City. Now, I'm not entirely sure what he's going to be able to do in New York. I don't think it's going to be much. But it was interesting. Last night, if those of you who watched Mamdani, we didn't bring it to you here because we were embattled in some other races that we were discussing. But Mamdani used, believe it or not, his address to the nation after, winning this massive race. Not to, of course, thank God, because Mamdani's not going to do that, but to thank some other people. So Mamdani's a self-described Marxist Democrat socialist, the first Muslim mayor, of New York, mayor-elect, I guess now, delivered this Marxist-tinged victory speech that sounded less like an American mayor, more like a disciple of Bernie Sanders, Ilhan Omar, Eugene Debs, all rolled into one. Mamdani didn't use this speech to quote George Washington or Abraham Lincoln or Theodore Roosevelt. He used his speech to quote socialist Eugene Debs, but also invoked Jawaharlal Nehru, the Marxist founding father of socialist India, who crushed Hindus and empowered jihadists.
Standing before you, I think of the words of Jawaharlal Nehru. A moment comes but rarely in history when we step out from the old to the new, when an age ends and when the soul of a nation long suppressed finds utterance. Tonight we have stepped out from the old into the new. So let us speak now with clarity and conviction that cannot be misunderstood about what this new age will deliver and for whom. This will be an age where New Yorkers expect from their leaders a bold vision of what we will achieve, rather than a list of excuses for what we are too timid to attempt.
Oh boy, can I not stand that man. Mamdani is across the platform and across his term running for mayor. His intention is to freeze rent, make buses free and fast, bring universal child care to New York, an agenda right out of course, the Marxist Socialist Manifesto. Calling himself a Muslim Democratic Socialist, Mamdani is going to certainly destroy New York. He vowed to make New York a city where the Donald Trumps of the city have grown far too comfortable taking advantage of their tenants, which is a translation: higher taxes, more regulation, and open hostility towards landlords and small businesses and anyone daring to succeed under the free market. Now, Mamdani couldn't finish his remarks without unleashing a tirade against President Trump, the city's most famous native son. Take a listen to this idiot, numbskull, socialist, Marxist, Democrat, communist.
If anyone can show a nation betrayed by Donald Trump how to defeat him, it is the city that gave rise to him. And if there is any way to terrify a despot, it is by dismantling the very conditions that allowed him to accumulate power. This is not only how we stop Trump, it's how we stop the next one. So Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up. We will hold bad landlords to account because the Donald Trumps of our city have grown far too comfortable taking advantage of their tenants. We will put an end to the culture of corruption that has allowed billionaires like Trump to evade taxation and exploit tax breaks. We will stand alongside unions and expand labor protections because we know, just as Donald Trump does, that when working people have ironclad rights, the bosses who seek to extort them become very small indeed. New York will remain a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants, and as of tonight, led by an immigrant. So hear me, President Trump, when I say this. To get to any of us, you will have to get through all of us.
Does he think anyone's intimidated by him and his little silver pinky ring that he wears? Dude, nobody's intimidated by you. Donald Trump was arrested, booked, fingerprinted, arrested like 4 or 5 times. You think you and the goat you rode in on frighten him in the slightest bit? What you don't realize is Donald Trump is going to have a field day with you. Little Zohran. He's going to have an absolute field day, and he's already intimated that. We're going to take a quick break here. On the other side of this quick break, we're live tonight, by the way, folks. So please be sure to like, subscribe, follow, hit that like button, that subscribe button on YouTube and Rumble if you can. Please leave us a comment. If you're listening on audio, please be sure to leave us a comment and a rating on the show. It drives our viewership to be seen in more places. When we return, I want to give you guys President Trump's response, because President Trump's already having fun with this little pinky ring Zohran. We're taking a quick break here, folks, on the Great America Show. Please stay with us. We're coming right back in under 60 seconds, I promise.
This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you that we're making it through. My employees and I want to thank you for your continued support by extending our wholesale prices on classic MyPillows. Get standard classic MyPillows only $14.98. I can't believe I'm even saying that. Only $14.98. But it gets even better. Upgrade to a queen size MyPillow for just $18.98. King size only $1 more. Get my body pillows $29.98 and multi-use MyPillows for only $9.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including my standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now only $14.98. Queens $18.98, Kings only $1 more. Not only that, order $75 or more, ship absolutely free.
From all of us here at MyPillow,
thanks, America!
Thanks, everybody, for staying with us here on the Great America Show. As I said, we are live tonight, so please be sure to leave your comments, and we'll try to get to them before the end of the show. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and follow if you're joining us on YouTube or Rumble. Every like, every follow helps us, believe it or not. So President Trump having some fun with Zohran already. And it's going to be a long 4 years for Zohran, because I think President Trump is going to have, as I said, heaps of fun with him. President Trump, in a speech, as I said just moments ago, says that just a year ago yesterday, America restored its sovereignty. Yesterday, we lost just a tiny bit of it.
On November 5th, 2024, the American people reclaimed our government. We restored our sovereignty. We lost a little bit of sovereignty last night in New York, but we'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. We rescued our economy, regained our liberty, and together we saved our country.
You heard the man. We lost a little bit, but we'll take care of it. Earlier today, President Trump was asked, because you heard Zohran there intimate that New York will be a place for migrants, a safe haven for migrants. I don't think he understands. I mean, he was in some sort of government in New York and led the assembly, I think. I don't think he understands how the government works and how the federal government does funding and stuff like that. It's also we'll talk about it, but I think it's going to be a little bit of a disconnect between him and Kathy Hochul. Kathy Hochul is a Marxist Dem, but I don't think she's quite socialist communist yet. No, I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination she's good. She's horrible. And she's on the brink of a socialist communist. But I don't think she's there yet. So there's going to be a little bit of a disconnect between Zohran the moron and Kathy Hochul. So it's going to be interesting to see them. But President Trump was asked about ICE going into New York City. what he's going to do if Zohran the moron tries to stop him.
Mr. President, your beloved New York City may well be led by a communist soon, Zohran Mamdani, who in his nomination speech said he will defy ICE and will not allow ICE to arrest criminal aliens in New York City. Your message to communist Zohran Mamdani?
Well, then we'll have to arrest him. Look, we don't need a communist in this country, but if we have one, I'm going to be watching over him very carefully on behalf of the nation. We send him money. We send him all the things that he needs to run a government. And by the way, they get about 3 times what you get, Ron. If you look at the per capita, Florida gets 1/3 of what New York gets in terms of the numbers. Why don't you give us those numbers?
Yeah, well,
because that's what we should send him.
Yeah, well, like sometimes people say Florida gets more because they count Social Security recipients, but that's not money to the state. Those are seniors that live here. If they moved to North Carolina, you could count it there. So it has no interaction with the state government. They get more in the city and state governments than we get.
Right, substantially. We're going to be watching that very carefully, and a lot of people are saying he's here illegally. We're going to look at everything, and ideally. He's going to turn out to be much less than a communist. But right now, he's a communist. That's not a socialist. I've always said, we will not have socialism in this country. In the speeches, I said, well, what? They skipped socialism. And you got a lot of them like that.
That was President Trump a few months ago, back with the opening of the Alligator Alcatraz. So, Mamdani, I dare you. I dare you to stop the ICE agents. I dare you to try to interfere with federal agents. You'll see the inside of a jail cell, and you might like it more than you'd ever suspected, Zohran. So President Trump clearly laying out, and he has for the last months, and if you've listened to the mainstream media, they're all over the place. Last night was absolutely hysterical. For any of you guys who are watching CNN, Van Jones, he couldn't believe that Zohran the moron used his speech so divisive. And he thought that tone he took during the campaign, that nice little boy, that 34-year-old mama's boy living in the rent-controlled apartment, mooching off his parents because he's a loser who's never had a real job in his life. Van Jones at CNN was very surprised that he took such a divisive attitude and thought he was going to try to unify the Marxist Dems and Republicans or whoever.
But I think he missed an opportunity. I think the Mamdani that we saw on the campaign trail, who was a lot more calm, who was a lot warmer, who was a lot more embracing, was not present in that speech. And I think that Mamdani is the one you need to hear from tonight. There are a lot of people trying to figure out, can I get on this train with him or not? Is he going to include me? Is he going to be more of a class warrior, even in office? I think he missed a chance tonight to open up and bring more people into the tent. I think his tone was sharp. I think he was using the microphone in a way that he was almost yelling. And that's not the Mamdani that we've seen on TikTok and the great interviews and stuff like that. So I felt like there's a little bit of a character switch here where the warm, open, embracing guy that's close to working people was not on stage tonight, and there was some other voice on stage. That said, he's very young. And he just pulled off something that's very, very difficult. And I wouldn't write him off, but I think he missed an opportunity to open himself up tonight. And I think that will probably cost him going forward.
Imagine that. Van Jones got banana in the tailpipe. He got fooled, folks. He thought Mamdani was going to be this, great unifier. No, that's who he was. That's who we told you he was, Van. Were you that dumb and that naive to not see this man's true colors of what he was selling? He was, to Zohan's credit, he was very straightforward about his political views. Now, I think he's like a closet psychopath, if you see him. It's a guy who's never been in a fight on a playground in his life with his pinky rings and all those rings he wears on his fingers. But he was very straightforward with who he was politically. A socialist, Marxist, communist. As for the personality thing, I saw that coming from a mile away. I'm sure a lot of people saw it coming from a mile away. But Van Jones, I guess, apparently was the only one who didn't see it. President Trump going after the communists and the disaster that they've delivered in this country in the 4 years of Joe Biden. Take a listen.
But the communists, Marxists, socialists, and globalists had their chance, and they delivered nothing but disaster. And now let's see how a communist does in New York. We're going to see how that works out. And we'll help them. We'll help them. We want New York to be successful. We'll help them a little bit, maybe. For all of these failed and discredited, really discredited, if you think, ideologies of the past, their day is over, their grip is broken, and their time is absolutely done. The golden age of America has begun, and we are just getting started.
Just getting started. Now, President Trump also in that speech says that the Democrats, what they're trying to do is bring us back to the Biden policies. They're trying to bring us back to the time of Joe Biden where everything was through the roof because of what happened last night.
Yet as we speak, the Democrats in Congress are trying to put all of this progress at risk and drag us back to the Biden policies of soaring prices, crushing energy costs, massive spending, open borders, let the world come into our country from prisons and from mental institutions, let them pour in, and rampant inflation. That's what Biden gave us, all of those things. With the reckless Democrat shutdown, virtually every Democrat in Congress has voted to hold the American people hostage in an effort to extort hundreds of billions of dollars in new spending. They're demanding free health care for illegal aliens that just came into our country from prisons and from mental institutions, and drug dealers and drug addicts, and they want to give $1.5 trillion in giveaways that would turbocharge rapid inflation again as they did the first time. You remember that just a couple of years ago, 4 disastrous years we just had. They were the worst years.
And we ain't going back, as President Trump says. Folks, I want to take a quick break here. On the other side of this quick break, I want to get to what happened at the Supreme Court today. Ketanji Brown Jackson seemingly continues to find ways to make herself look like a total fool, not really knowing what's going on. I also want to get into some states and cities across this country that rejected socialism last night, but not the Marxist Dems. Didn't reject them at all turns. A Clinton judge ordering the Department of Justice to turn over Lindsay Halligan's transcripts. Lindsay Halligan is the new attorney for the state of Virginia, the one who's prosecuting all the criminals down there, Comey and Tish James and the rest of the folks. Also, the rhinos, folks, have struck again. You're never going to guess what state they struck in. And also, 2 big states last night, one of them rejecting ballot measures to keep us sovereign from the illegal aliens voting in our elections. The other one doubling down. We'll tell you all about it on the other side of this quick break, folks. Please stay with us. The Great America Show continues in just one moment. We're coming right back in less than 60 seconds. If you're joining us on YouTube, Rumble, Twitter, please be sure to hit that like, subscribe, and follow button. We'll be right back.
Just like all of you, I had problems sleeping. I had tried every pillow out there and nothing worked. I'd flip-flop all night, use my arm for support, and fall asleep, or I'd wake up with a sore neck or maybe a headache. Well, quality sleep comes from keeping your neck straight at night. You have to fill in that space between your head and your bed. That's why I invented My Pillow. My Pillow's patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs, and it doesn't matter if you sleep on your back, stomach, side, or any combination of all 3.
When I got My Pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night, and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get Classic King My Pillows for only $19.98. Queen size just $18.98. Standard Classic My Pillows only $14.98. That's right, only $14.98. Plus all orders $75 or more ship absolutely free.
Thanks, everybody, for staying with us here on the Great America Show. Please be sure to hit that like, subscribe, and follow button on YouTube and Rumble. We truly appreciate it. So, Minneapolis siding away from socialism, but they stay with the Marxism. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey secured himself a 3rd term, defeating Democrat State Senator Omar Fatah and 13 other challenges in the city's ranked choice voting. Frey markets himself as a mainstream Democrat, led Fatah by about 10 percentage points. Fatah is the Somalian that you probably have all seen in the videos as they've been going around for some time. So the rhinos striking again. Tuesday night, California voters and fake voters approved a measure to redraw their congressional districts in California to get rid of 5 seats, up to 5 seats in California. Now, California has mail-in voting. IDs are not checked to vote. You can sign up online. Illegals are widely known to vote. And ballot harvesting is running rampant and allowed through the state. So it's very clear to see that California no longer has reputable elections, and they haven't for quite some time. And it's not uncommon for Democrats to take several seats now from the House Republican weeks after the election. That's the definition of fraud. Meanwhile, in the state of Kansas, which is historically pretty Republican, last night, the rhinos in the state Senate announced they didn't have enough votes for the redistricting battle. Obviously, these rhinos have missed that the Democrats have for years been working on this gerrymandering stuff, electing communists, Islamists, deranged individuals who want to kill Republican babies. That, of course, referring to the new attorney general down in the state of Virginia, who was elected last night. Kansas House top Republicans dropping off the efforts to redraw their district maps. Total fools, total losers. Now, last night, up on the ballot, Maine and Texas, latest states to become involved in nationwide push to enact stricter voter ID laws and highlight the problem of non-citizens voting, with voters set to decide measures on those ballots. Voters in Maine rejected a sweeping proposal centered on voter ID. The initiative would implement a voter ID requirement for voters, limit the use of drop boxes for returning completed ballots, and make numerous changes to the state's absentee ballot issues over there. Overwhelmingly rejecting that in the state of Maine. So I guess we'll continue to see fraud out of that state. Now, Texas proposed their arrival there for the Republicans push for proof of citizenship for voters. Texas Senate bill on the subject failed to gain full legislation approval before lawmakers adjourned in June. Voters in Texas already must be citizens, but this goes a little bit further to ensure that people aren't using fake IDs, fake voter IDs, fake social securities, which we know is happening, at least here in New York. So Texas doubling down on their initiative to secure their elections, whereas you see what happens. Billionaire Alex Soros, you know Alex Soros, George Soros' son, a leftist billionaire mega donor, hailing the win for the Marxist Zohran Mamdani. Posting a picture rather. We're not even going to show it to you. So proud to be a New Yorker. The American dream continues. Good old alpha boy Alex Soros posted over on Twitter. Pathetic. Imagine that. We had Elon Musk on our side. We had Elon Musk cruising for the Republicans, doing a hell of a job, fundraising like hell, donating like hell. Had to get out of Dodge. Had to get out of town because the Republicans just didn't want to cut spending. Couldn't do it. They couldn't help themselves. Elon came in with Doge, tried to save the system, but no. The rhinos, the Republicans couldn't help themselves. They couldn't help themselves. I mean, it's so pathetic. So now what do we have? Who's going to be the GOP mega donor now going forward? I don't know. I guess they'll figure it out. Or they won't have one as they've had, in the past. Who knows? The Republicans can screw up an empty field if you gave it to them. I mean, they don't know what did Donald Trump famously say? They don't know what the hell they're doing. And they don't. So as I said earlier on in the show, this should be an eye-opener to the Republican Party to get your stuff together, get your act together, or you will lose in the midterms, which I've thought maybe it's what they want. Maybe it's what they want. Maybe they like being in the minority. Maybe that's what they want. Marxist Democrats, Chuck Schumer, and Hakeem Jeffries sending a letter to President Trump today that was just absolutely hysterical. and shows you they have no originality and no original thought of their own. Dear President Trump, we write to demand a bipartisan meeting of legislative leaders to end the GOP shutdown of federal government and decisively address the Republican healthcare crisis. Republican healthcare crisis? Obamacare is a Democrat healthcare crisis. Democrats stand ready to meet with you face to face, anytime and any place. All right, Dr. Seuss. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I mean, can you get like a little bit more original, Hakeem? The Democrats are so lost. Of course, trying to mock Donald Trump for the attention to this matter quote that he signs a lot of his tweets with to make fun of the Democrats and poke fun at the Democrats. So pathetic. Absolutely so damn pathetic. But it wasn't as pathetic as what happened today in the U.S. Supreme Court. Ketanji Brown Jackson, which is Joe Biden's super DEI Supreme Court hire, just a really interesting exchange. Like, very, very interesting. We're going to play a few in just a moment with one of the Trump administration officials. Trump has been using the International Emergency Economics Power Act to enact his tariffs, which is now before the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court agreed to fast-track the Trump's tariff case last month. They're now taking it up this week after the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit rejected Trump's authority to impose a sweeping tariff in a 7-4 decision. So U.S. Solicitor General John Sauer immediately faced a skeptical Supreme Court when he tried to argue that Trump had the legal authority to raise these tariffs unilaterally under IEEPA. Jackson, Ketanji Brown Jackson, that is, was predictably aggressive in her questioning to Sauer and demanded that he give an example of a previous president's unilateral enacting tariffs on somebody. Now, President Nixon imposed a 10% tariff on all imports under the Trading with the Enemies Act, TWEA, precursor to the International Emergency Economics Power, the IEEPA, in an attempt to force other nations to revalue their currencies against the dollar. Now, take a listen to good old Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Did any president under TWEA use that language to impose tariffs?
Well, yes, President Nixon's 1971 tariff.
Not a tariff. That wasn't a tariff. It was a licensing agreement during wartime. It was a specific thing. A tariff I'm talking about.
I'm referring to President Nixon's 1971 tariff.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. Yes, I thought you meant Lincoln.
Not only that, but then it was upheld by the Court of Appeals with exclusive jurisdiction under this very phrase.
Can I back you up just a second? I'm sorry. You're talking so quickly.
Sorry.
Do you guys want to listen to that again? No, I'm not going to make you listen to that again. Nixon? I thought you meant Lincoln. Which one is it? Who's who? Who's what? Oh boy, folks, we're in trouble. We're in big trouble with these Democrats, and I mean big trouble. Oh man, when you've got Ketanji Brown Jackson on the Supreme Court there, making the rules of our nation, upholding the rule of law in our nation, and she's got John Sauer over there telling him he's talking too fast for her to understand. We're in big trouble. Very, very big trouble. And speaking of the government shutdown, the FAA is going to cut now over the next few days 10% of all flights in America to try to limit airspace issues that they're having because the Democrats choose to keep the government shut down as they have. I want to get to a few of your questions, your comments, concerns before we wrap up here. We appreciate you guys joining us tonight here on the Great America Show. Let me see if I can get these up. Just give me 1 second. I want to give you guys your shout outs. All right, here we go. G-Wi-Fi, good afternoon from beautiful San Diego. We appreciate you joining us, sir. Kelly Song, good evening to you. Ripped New Yorkistan. Yeah, that's right. Trump 2028. Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Ball Girl, we appreciate you tuning in as always. Billy over on Facebook, it's good they brought in, sorry, my vision is terrible. It's good they are bought forth the spotlight so they can show their true colors for everyone to see for themselves. Yep. It's what they've got going for them. Looking forward to it. John over on Facebook, brain dead people that like the word free. Yeah, I've never got anything for free. I'd love to. Our friend Finbar from across the pond over in the UK. I didn't think they realized what they voted for. I think you're talking about Mamdani. Yeah. I guess they'll find out. Strafer, here's 4 for him. Turn the funding off and let them fall. Referring to Mamdani telling President Trump to turn it up. Well, girl, Obama is very happy today. Yeah, Barack Hussein is probably on the happy side of things today. Moron Mamdani is under congressional review for denaturalization and deportation. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I ain't against it. Hilder over on Facebook, what a stupid man. He thinks Muslim immigrants are going to take over New York. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. They're going to try, but I don't think that's going to happen. Oh, what do we got here? Row over on Rumble. New York just elected this anti-American mayor. Now watch the chaos start. All they think about is defeating President Trump. Yeah, they're sick, deranged people. And that's for sure. Barry over on Facebook. Communists have been masquerading as Democrats for some time now. The left are ignorant of the path they pursue. Ignorance is bliss to its own defect. Couldn't agree with you more, Barry. All righty, let's see. We will help the moron Mamdani find Daniel Penny on a New York subway. Oh, boy. They didn't like Trump because he was not political, but they would vote for a non-politician communist. Yeah. Mark Mitchell often talks about the fourth turning. And I think we're in it. Billy over on Facebook, looks like the New York voters brought the snake oil. Yeah. They're going to soon realize what communism is. I've never experienced it, but I'm sure there's some people on the show who came from, immigrated from communist nations and know what it's like. Gail over on Facebook. Now you know what Democrats democracy represents. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Brent over on Facebook. His victory speech showed his true self with the leftists. They say they need to get elected, but once elected, they show their true colors. Yeah, with Mamdani, he was, I think, pretty true from the beginning. He told us he was a socialist. Kelly, a-holes, they have no right to demand anything from President Trump, referring to Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer. Yeah, I think it's funny. I think it's so funny. They have no originality to anything, and they're just brain dead. Two of those knuckleheads. Schumer and Jeffries are just two of the dumbest people on Capitol Hill. Oh, boy. G Wi-Fi, Ketanji Brown, what is a woman? I don't think she knows what a woman is. I'm going to try to be nice. I'm going to try to be very nice. I don't think it'll last very long once they realize they have made fools of themselves. They'll be living on the streets and eating out of garbage cans. Yeah, good. It's good. I love all the rich people who voted for Mamdani. The rich, white, and Asian community were among his highest voters in the primary. These are the same people who are going to cry that crime is out of control on the subways in New York. You literally cannot make this stuff up, folks. Over on Joe on YouTube, Zohran Mamdani is a terrorist. He's certainly going to terrorize New York City. Whether it be the prostitution, the drugs, whatever it is, he's going to, for sure, attempt to terrorize New York City. And, I hope we saw yesterday, I think it was a fire department chief resigning yesterday before Mamdani even comes in. And I hope the New York Police Department, which they did to Bill de Blasio, some of you guys may remember, turned their backs on him because he was literally putting targets on the backs of police officers. I mean, I hope that these police unions stand up and fight back. I hope it empowers these work unions, the Teamsters Union, which is one of the biggest ones in New York operating, some of these labor unions, stand up and get control and the people in those unions get control of your union. Because historically, for years, the unions have endorsed Democrats. It wasn't until President Trump, really, since Reagan, that you really started these unions endorse Republicans again. And the funny thing is most of these unions the members of them are Republicans. They lean right. They're hardworking, blue-collar workers who don't want to see their paychecks and taxes go to illegal immigrants or illegal migrants, whatever you want to call them. Migrants is what the people like on this show. They get mad at me when I call them illegal immigrants, but sometimes I get confused. But these are hard, blue-collar workers who don't want to see their dollars being spent and wasted on illegals in hospitals, in our school system, your children who don't speak English. So it takes you guys to stand up and voice and get rid of your damn leadership if they don't share your values. You pay union dues, very high in some cases. Take your unions back. Police unions, don't be scared. Fire department unions, and fight back. Do not allow, if there's anybody in the New York Police Department, I have friends and family, both in and both have left since de Blasio. Do not let these politicians put targets on your backs of your kids or your loved ones, like Bill de Blasio did, where we watched cops be murdered, assassinated. Speak up. Make your voice heard. Don't allow this to happen. You pay for it. You have a right for it. You pay taxes. You pay union dues. And it's not just them. Everybody. Speak up. They did their No Kings rally. You speak up as well. Don't be silent. Don't be scared. There's no reason to be scared. Don't be terrorized by these people. Mamdani's certainly not going to terrorize me. And for you guys as well. So we appreciate that. Lynn, I live in California, so basically have no voice here. Yeah, but you can do your part. Be loud. Speak up. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, do it with pride. It's what I come out here and do every single night for you guys. And I'm sure I've got plenty of targets on my back and arrows being flung at me. But you know what? I keep my head down and I keep it pushing. There's nothing anybody's going to do to stop me. Mamdani is a creation, a shill. Yeah, he absolutely is. And he's a creation of the Republicans, from the Republicans. Creation of the Democrats. We laughed at this idiot for far too long. This is just the beginning, folks. It's only going to get worse from here. I'm not blackpilling. I'm not a pessimist. You guys rarely see me out here without a smile on my face every night. It is only going to get worse before it gets better. I promise you that. And New York is going to be the test case, and we're going to see it in other states. And we're going to see it in other cities. This is not the end. This is just the beginning. It's going to be a long ride. I'm not blackpilling you. I promise. My take on it is that this is going to be a long ride. We're all going to be in it together. And that's what I'm here for, folks. Your relief, your therapy each and every night, 6 p.m. Eastern here on the East Coast in the great state of New York. That's all for us tonight, folks, here on The Great America Show. Please be sure to hit that like, follow, and subscribe button on YouTube and Rumble. Please share this. We're finally growing a little bit on YouTube. They're letting us grow. Eventually, I think we're going to get this show fully just on YouTube and get rid of Rumble because Rumble doesn't help us one bit. And they don't want to pay us anything. So eventually we're going to be all on YouTube. So if we can get you guys to start migrating over there on our YouTube channel, you just go to YouTube at The Great America Show. You can find us there. Eventually, like I said, we're going to be just on YouTube to move away from Rumble. So that's all for us tonight, folks, here on The Great America Show. Please be sure to join us back here tomorrow. Truth, justice, and the American way is always at the forefront. And folks, keep up the good fight. Keep your heads down. Stay focused. It's not over, but it's going to get worse. But we're all in this fight together. We'll see you back here tomorrow, folks. Until then, may God bless you. May God bless America. And may God bless the great, great Lou Dobbs. Have a great night, everybody. God bless you all.